Hello, folks, and welcome to the third episode of the Hawks Watch podcast. This is your host, James Arnold, coming to you on a Saturday afternoon, about a day after the first Summer League game for the Hawks, and going to be talking about that game and some news updates. There's a lot to get into from the last couple of weeks with different signings and things going around with the roster. So let's get into it. So, I want to start off here with a little bit of news about the Summer League team. Kobe Bufkin hurt his shoulder, has a shoulder subluxation that happened in a practice, and he will be unavailable for Summer League games. So, when I heard that news, that was quite unfortunate. He is more proven than most of the guys on the Summer League team and knows, has been in the system, has played a lot in the G League and then with the main team, more at the end of last year. So, he was going to be a nice creator for this team and really allow, the other guys to kind of play off him. Risa Shea, Jurisic, they have not played in the system yet. So, would have been nice to have him around to kind of run the offense and get those guys open and not have them, have to play on balls much. But he's going to be out. He should be ready for training camp, though, for the beginning of the season. So we will see him next year on the main roster. But so last night was the, first game of Summer League for the Hawks. And, it was game one, was kind of touted as Risa Shea versus Sarr. It was more of a, primetime game for these Summer League games, just because it was number one pick versus number two pick. And there had been, a lot of talk about them in the last couple of months. So Risa Shea, came out looking pretty good, showed some shot making, showed his handle, feel for the game, passing as well. Had a nice behind the back pass at one point. Didn't get the assist on it because the guy missed the corner three, but it was a nice pass and showed some nice connectivity. Had a big transition dunk as well. So he flashed his all-around game and, showed kind of why the Hawks went out and got him, was a player that plays the right way, can handle the ball, shoot it, has good size. So, pretty clear to see why the Hawks liked him, and definitely a solid connective player as well. Had 18 points, 3 of 9 from 3, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. So solid all-around stats from him. Jurisic came out in the first quarter looking really great. He's an aggressive player. He had some great, really flashed his passes, his passing ability, especially in that first quarter. Definitely struggled after the Wizards were, kind of pressing up on him more, and he's not exactly, the guy that you want running the point all the time. So he definitely has, some combo ability to kind of, create shots and all of that, but is not his main role. So, he definitely struggled after some nice flashes in that first quarter, but it was good to see. He's a young player, and he'll, I'm sure, no doubt, he'll continue to develop in the system that the Hawks have, and we'll see how he is the rest of Summer League. Another guy to watch was Mo Gay. In this game, he was basically on the ground the entire game. Was able to show his athleticism and his potential there. He's still definitely learning, what risks to take and not take on the court. Ended up with a lot of fouls. I forget. I think it was like 7 fouls, which in summer league you can have 10. So an ungodly amount of fouls for the amount of time that he played. So definitely still learning. And again, he was on the ground about every time I looked up, 5 or 6 times. He was laying on his back, looking like he could be hurt, which was a problem for him last year. Affected the amount of time that he was able to play. So you know we'll see what he does the rest of summer league as well. But it was kind of an up and down game for him. Um, Someone that I, didn't really have my eye on coming into summer league was Keaton Wallace. He actually signed right after the game on a two-way deal with the Hawks. Definitely was, a guy that I hadn't had my eye on, but during the game, definitely started to notice him with his point of attack defense, physicality. He's aggressive. He can go get his own bucket. He knows, how to run the offense, can get other guys open, facilitate it. 38% shooter from three as well. So great two-way signing. On the Hawks roster right now, we do need, more help at the guard position. So getting a guy that can, defend, shoot it, run the offense, get his own bucket on a two-way deal is nice to have for depth purposes, if nothing else. He is also the brother of Cason Wallace, I should mention. Cason was a guy in that, I believe it was the 2023 draft, that the Hawks were targeting with that 15th pick, and, wasn't probable that he was going to make it to them. I believe he went number 10, and then we ended up picking Kobe Buffkin at number 15. But anyway, Keaton Wallace is the brother of Cason Wallace, and shares some of the same attributes that the Hawks liked about Cason, with that perimeter defense, physicality, and just playing the game the right way. Again, this is a big thing we're seeing with all of these guys. It's just playing the right way, making the right reads on the court, defending the perimeter, playing physically, playing in that, 0.5 second offense as well, where you're, making quick decisions. There's not a lot of stagnation with the ball. So, he's another great two-way signing. Excited about that. I am going to transition to some news some news updates from the last few weeks here. It's a lot to get into on this. First and foremost, Vit Krejci is coming back on a 4-year, $10 million contract. So, that's about $2.5 million a year on average for him, which is a good signing. He showed a lot of perimeter defensive ability last year. Played about 18, 20 games with the Hawks when, we were facing some depth challenges, especially at the wing. DeAndre Hunter was out for a while. Jalen Johnson was out for a while. We didn't have a lot of forwards or guys that could slide in at the three. So he came at a nice time, and with his development in College Park was, able to show a little bit of what he can do. Also flash some good potential with his three-point shot that seemed to be coming along there as well. So if he can, hold that level that he, displayed last year, he's going to be a great, value contract for the Hawks to have for depth purposes, and, can be a solid rotation player at times as well. So very, definitely love Vit. He's a good guy. Everyone loves being around him from what I can tell. And he's, good to have back on this roster. Seth Lundy also signed again on a two-way deal as well, so he will be back. Nice 3-and-D type wing that we can slide into the rotation as well if needed. Do want to mention as well, Saddiq Bey did sign with the Wizards actually, so he will no longer be with the team. really an unfortunate situation for, Sadiq with his, tearing his ACL. He's going to be out, most of next season. And, you know, he does fit with this team in that, generally, well, at least in the past, he has been, a 3-point shooter. He brings solid intensity and physicality to the game. He's not the most, vertically athletic guy or laterally. So he does struggle on the defensive end, and, he's not, a top 6, 7 guy that you probably want, in your rotation. So, just unfortunate that Sadiq, had that injury and signed for I think 20 million for 3 years, which for most people is great, but he was projected to get a lot more money than that. So unfortunate for him, but wish him the best in Washington. Uh, did want to mention as well, couple updates from the DJ trade as well. So we did end up getting Cody Zeller. So now we have 5 centers on the roster, being Clint Capella, Onyeka Okongwu, Larry Nance, Cody Zeller, and we also have Bruno Fernando still. We actually extended his, date that we have to decide on him to August 1st, so was able to kind of push that decision out. But there's definitely a roster crunch there. With all of those centers, you probably don't want to have, that much money tied up in the center position. And, so many of those guys can play solid rotation minutes. Clint Capella and Onyeka can play at a starter level. Larry Nance, in a backup role. Cody Zeller, probably want him to be your third center. Not really sure if they're planning on keeping him. We also have EJ Liddell who can slide over to center. So a lot of forwards and guys that are slotted in at a center role that they're going to have to make some decisions about. But just with the two-way signings that we've seen, Veed, Keaton Wallace, Seth Lundy, bringing in Dyson Daniels, Risa Shea. These are all guys that, Dursic as well. These are all guys that know how to play, defend, can pass it. They just play the right way and are able to make quick decisions. And there's, again, seems like a real cohesive plan with what the Hawks are doing with this roster. So definitely excited for the next season coming up. But I am going to end out there. I will probably be back, after Summer League with, my main takeaways from there once we play the rest of the games. But definitely, been an exciting couple of weeks. There wasn't much going on, and then seemed like a bunch of signings and things happened in the last week or so. So wanted to get on a podcast and kind of update on the news and go over the first game of Summer League. But thank you for listening. Again, this is James Arnold. You can go ahead and follow me on Twitter at HawksWatch99, and thank you for listening.